Chairman Guest, Ranking Member Thompson, and distinguished members of this committee, thank you for inviting me to testify today. I'm pleased to offer policy insights from the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, a nonpartisan research institute where I serve as a senior fellow. Chinese Communist Party Chairman Xi Jinping has declared technological innovation the, quote, main battlefield in China's quest for global preeminence. For Xi, Chinese-style modernization is not merely an economic goal. It's a historic mandate with grave implications for U.S. national security. In seeking to dominate what he calls China's new productive forces, breakthroughs in batteries, biotech, LiDAR, drones, robotics, and other cutting-edge technologies, Xi seeks to cement Chinese control over the drivers of the next industrial revolution. In doing so, Xi intends to transform China into a global science superpower. Yet Xi's strategy is predicated on a glaring vulnerability. It depends, in part, on sustained access to U.S. capital markets and advanced technology, as well as near unfettered reach into American data and critical infrastructure systems. On this front, U.S. policymakers must act decisively and without delay. Xi's broader technological ambitions underpin China's military-civil fusion strategy, a doctrine that breaks down barriers between the People's Liberation Army and China's civilian institutions, including Chinese universities and ostensibly private Chinese companies. This fusion accelerates the transfer of scientific innovations directly into China's defense and intelligence sectors, ensuring that Chinese military capabilities evolve in lockstep with civilian progress. Here at home, Beijing's strategy unfolds in three interlocking phases. First, Chinese actors relentlessly penetrate U.S. networks and critical infrastructure, harvesting vast troves of sensitive data in the process. Recently exposed Chinese state-sponsored hacking campaigns, Salt, Volt, and Flax Typhoon, reveal how Beijing exploits software vulnerabilities, implants malicious code, and maintains persistent backdoors. More than a year after these breaches became public, Chinese hackers still enjoy near persistent access to U.S. telecommunications networks, with Washington yet to impose any meaningful costs. But hacking and data theft are just the opening gambit. Beijing's secondary goal is to systematically pre-position itself within our networks to degrade or disrupt them at critical junctures, both in peace and in conflict. By embedding compromised cranes in U.S. ports, Chinese-made LiDAR devices in traffic control, or drones that seamlessly integrate with civilian and military operations, Beijing gains a silent veto over our crisis response. Whether through biotech innovations or batteries powering our grid, each dependency transforms market reliance into a strategic liability. In times of tension, the mere suspicion that these systems might be sabotaged could erode confidence, delay U.S. responses, and undermine our deterrent posture. Third, China profits from this dual approach. Chinese high-tech exports from advanced sensors and biotech to drones and surveillance cameras generate billions in revenue every year for Beijing. This revenue is funneled back into military-civil fusion programs, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of power. What's more, by converting market access into geopolitical leverage, the CCP has weaponized Western dependence on its technologies, thereby undercutting U.S. competitiveness. In response to these provocations, it's vital that policymakers act with both urgency and clarity. By levying meaningful penalties, including robust outbound investment screening, targeted export controls, and stringent procurement bans on high-risk Chinese technologies, Washington can deny Xi the leverage he seeks and compel China to reassess its aggressive posture. If we fail to act, every hacked network, every compromised supply chain, and every dependency engineered by Beijing only heightens our vulnerability to disruption, sabotage, or even systemic failure during a crisis. In many respects, today's predicament recalls the late stages of the Cold War, when Washington's misguided embrace of peaceful coexistence inadvertently prolonged the Soviet system's survival, treating it as an immutable juggernaut rather than one susceptible to sustained internal and external pressure. By minimizing accountability for Chinese espionage, coercion, and violations of international norms, we risk reinforcing Beijing's conviction that its revanchist ambitions need not be curbed. We therefore must act and shift from a misguided policy rooted in reflexive de-escalation to one of assertive reprisal, from passive coexistence with China to purposeful competition on America's terms. On behalf of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, I thank you again for inviting me to testify today.